I'm Melissa, and this is Angela. We're both coordinators of the trustee program. I'm in Moncton, and Angela's in St. John. So you will have to go with us at some point. You'll have to have our students, I'm sure, at some point. But it's an incredible opportunity for you guys. I hope that you have an opportunity as well, because you definitely appreciate so much from your end. So we're just going to get started. It's really informal. It is a Q&A session. We do have a PowerPoint, but it's only meant to help steer the conversation. So please feel free to ask at any point. Okay.
Use your arrows to work. No, your arrows.
Uh-oh.
I did use
Sorry.
It wasn't working.
It was an arrow, I promise. Oh, no. Not at all. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there.
Perfect. Awesome.
So on this slide, we just put a quick screenshot of the scope of practice, and it actually has each province on it for the registered firm technician.
So if you're ever wondering, as a professional, not even in the preceptor role, but you can find this on the NAPR website, and it's really great because you may have friends in different provinces that say, "Oh, I can do this. Can you do this?" So one thing that's coming up is injections. So technicians are beginning to do injections in certain provinces, which is really neat. Not here in New Brunswick yet; it's not legal, but it will probably be coming our way. So this is a good place to check because NAPR will update this as things change.
And this was actually just updated just this year, 2019. I think it was September 2019. They updated it.
Perfect. So qualities of a preceptor. So when we think about a preceptor, so you guys are mentors. And throughout some point, you are all new students or learners in your work environment. So you know what it means to have that go-to person. So that go-to person is definitely, is full of enthusiasm, supportive,
Conscious work ethic, enjoy. I know some days it gets a little overwhelming. We have a lot of students coming through here all the time, but it really is important that you enjoy having students with you as well. High motivation level, be able to create a warm rapport, and just knowledge in your skills.
Because you guys are the experts, and that's something to be proud of and know, and definitely let them know. Yeah, I've mastered this skill. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm a technician. So more clinical competence, sound judgment, skills and organization, skilled interpersonal communication, and friendly, able to provide feedback, experience in areas where precepting. So if there's not trained in skilled compounding, for example, like you're a preceptor, it doesn't mean that you have to be an expert in that area. Somebody else is going to know in that area. So don't have to be an expert in that area. Somebody else is already going to grade them technically in their competence. So don't worry about being an expert in every area, but you guys are an expert as a pharmacist.
Because, you know, when the students are here, quite often they're paired up with different people all through the 4 weeks that they're here. So there should be good communication amongst the team as well, so that the students can be properly evaluated.
Just success. If you meet even once a week with your in passing by, it's great, but even if there could be a time when you just go to break with them, so it doesn't have to be a formal sit down meeting once a week, but even if it was 5 minutes of your 15-minute break, just sit down and make sure that they're doing okay. Any questions or any concerns that you have as well. It goes both ways. I would love to say that there's never any concerns with students, but there sometimes is. Things come up. So it goes both ways.
Right, and if there is something that comes up, being able to address it right away, so that the student, they can't correct what they don't know, so hopefully it can get addressed right away, so that it doesn't just snowball from there and potentially get worse. Not that it would, but you never know what's happening. So a midpoint evaluation, we've actually created a midpoint evaluation that will go to the practical evaluation. Where you meet midpoint, and actually there's a part for the student to fill out and a part for the preceptor to fill out. And as we mentioned, if you're not with them all the time, that's why it's good for you to meet with the people that they have been working with every day, so that you can get the feedback from them as to how they've been doing while they've been there. Don't be afraid to mark them as unsuccessful or unmet. We're going to show you that on their evaluation. Our expectations are really high, as you know. We're still all fairly new at this, so a lot of us had to go through the bridging and national exams. You know what's expected of you. So if you really think that a student has not demonstrated that they're capable of performing that skill, don't be afraid. I know a lot of times we're like, well, we don't want to be the ones to fail them. But if you want to pass them along, potentially go out there and not be successful as well.
And we'll come to another one where we talk about you guys and that's so important. So you're the role models, and we've all been there, like I said. With students, many of them are moms or adult students. They have financial burdens and they're studying on top of it. So we get that so that things may come up. Things may come up as professionals. You know, as registered professionals, we all have those things where all adults have a life outside of work. So it's really nice to know that you're a role model. So if they're experiencing trouble, or if there has been a sick day or an accident, and they come to you and they say, well, this happened. Well, it's great that you guys all have something, we all have something in common. We're trying to have a work-life balance. They're trying. So accreditation. So this is an accreditation requirement. Is for you guys to be trained as preceptors and to understand the role. We think that it's really important as well. So in our program, a well-designed curriculum includes efficient, well-designed, and appropriately sequenced simulation experience so that the preceptors don't have to provide the primary instruction for skills. So we don't expect you guys to have them how to do something. You shouldn't have to teach them how to film. You shouldn't have to teach them how to hold a story. You shouldn't have to teach them those things. They've already learned them. But as a preceptor and as the other professionals that are going to be looking after or observing the students when they're here, it's a matter of making sure they get to apply. So applying the skills is really, really important. If there is a problem, if somebody says, I wasn't taught how to hold a syringe well, you know that they wouldn't tell you the truth. But anyhow, if there is an issue with, oh, we weren't taught that, then that's something definitely maybe just jot down and say, they said that wasn't taught. Maybe it is something that we have missed, or maybe it's something that we need to bring back and refresh with this. So we can pull up our lab activities and say, this is the lab and this is when we did that. And so that when they get the opportunity to practice it again in your environment, they can actually practice it and not have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it.
Because there are slight differences between what we simulate in the lab and what they're going to see here. It's not going to be identical to what they're going to see when they get here. We try to simulate it as best as we can, but they might say, oh, I've never done it that way before. But they have. They just can't think their side sometimes, so it's not quite 100% the same.
And a lot of the hospitals do things differently, which we've really found out. It is so interesting, but it's done all over. The Dumont, they don't use it. Moncton still uses it on
St. John does.
Right, and St. John uses every horizon has been done all of the prescriptions that they're filling. The Dumont does. So when we're teaching the students to check your DIN, and they get to the Dumont, and they say there's no DINs to check. So they don't. That's new for you guys. No way. So that's really, it's a good move, right? It's just another checkbox.
Oh, yes.
Exactly, and like the din is golden, so.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you may have to, curb their activities because they will not curb it here, but they have learned one way. But it should be so when they get in the
Transfer.
cabinet, right, they can transfer their knowledge to the workplace. Okay, so this is the one that we were talking about. DCAP considers preceptors to be part of the program's instructional staff. So you guys are instructors. When you're here, when the students are here, that doesn't mean you teach them, but it definitely means that you oversee
guide
what they're doing and you guide them in their learning and in their practice.
This part of our standard, when staff comes to accredit us, they actually want to meet with our preceptors.
Right.
So they do consider you part of our instructional staff. So they actually now are starting, they're coming to state now, post one, and there are meetings where they want to actually sit and meet with preceptors.
And that's for both to see how our students are doing when you have them, but also you have the support that you need from us. Because we can't do our job without our school support. So can you do yours? You have that support, you have the resources from us as well. So if there's something that you ever do like this, we'll come in and do it, or we'll try to make it work for you guys.
So I think everybody had this sent to them, the sites for the preceptor training. Has everybody gone?
You gone through it? Not yet.
I've looked at it, but
Right. So
Okay.
they're both great learning resources. If you sign and return the declaration of preceptor training, that's the best way to say that you did it. And preceptor training is valid for some student marks. So if it took you 2 hours to do it, then you can use it as CD. You have to say, of course, on the Form M, how it enhanced your learning or your work environment, or how it enhanced
What you learned from
your
it.
learning, right, as a pharmacy tech. But you learn a lot from it. And we're in working or in hospitals. Our whole province only has hospitals where students come. So it is part of your learning indefinitely.
And we will be sending out the form to be signed and returned that you did the preceptor training. And the students do the preceptor training modules that are for the student side of it as well.
Right. They see some of what you guys do.
So if the student is absent, I know in the past we've never asked for you to notify us, but we are going forward with students are supposed to notify their instructors as well as their work site. But we're finding that sometimes that's not happening. It's a bit of a disconnect. So we're actually going forward asking that when a student does phone in sick, you send us a quick email as well to let us know that they're not there. So they have to complete so many hours. If they don't, then they have to potentially make that time up, or they're going to be unsuccessful as well. And there's a first day rotation checklist included inside our host handbook that really helps guide that first day. Thinking phone numbers that they would call in for sick. There's expectations from the departments that are in there for you to go over with them, and I believe both sign off that you've gone over the first day. So we took a couple of screenshots of our evaluation instead of bringing our whole evaluation.
Multiple pages. We thought this would be, you're going to have to look at it someday anyways, so we won't make you do it today.
So the students, feedback we've been getting from the students over the last few years, and it's not at every site, and it's different all across the province as to the experience that they're getting at the site. But there has been a lot of that they're just walk. And really for them to be properly evaluated, they need to start demonstrating some of the skills. So for one that we have highlighted right now was about best possible medication. We've actually had instances where students put permitted bed in the room. They were aside, and it wasn't at the request of the patient. It was just the person who was that day wasn't supposed to have the student, but they made the outside the room.
Wasn't
They're not
happy
learning.
having it as a way outside. So what do you learn from that? Not a whole lot.
Right. And they spend now with the 2-year program, they spend a lot of time simulating the best possible medication industry in our lab.
Yes.
Yes.
So they
They need
should do it. Yes. And we'll make sure that the
Let
students
them-
know.
Potentially let them watch one or
Yeah,
two
I
first
definitely do.
so that they get a feel for it. But yes, we use the forms that from Horizon got the
Yes.
interview sheets to show them. They've had to fill out a proper sheet, so they know what's expected. They should be able to. When they go to a community pharmacy, besides the first day they usually receive an order and put it away. But after that, they're thrown right in and they're receiving prescriptions. They're entering them. They're doing everything. So yes, absolutely, they can interview under direct supervision,
Yeah.
of course.
Right, yeah. Don't leave them
Never by
alone.
themselves.
I feel like I've taken them and I've asked them, I don't think so. And I've
So
Yeah.
just
Right,
give them
they're
the
just
choice.
nervous. Yeah, just,
Okay, you're up.
no,
Yeah.
your turn. Right.
And of course, they are going to be a little bit nervous. So hopefully they can do more than one, because that first one, I'm sure they will be a little rusty and very nervous. But
Right.
as
We
you're
were all
supposed-
nervous when we first started. I know.
they need that experience. Well, most likely would. Right. Right. So it's one thing for us to simulate it in class, but they're interviewing each other. It's a whole lot different when they've got to interview a real
Follow through.
Right
Exactly,
on,
right?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. And here in product distribution. So, I know in this past year when the St. John students went out for example, with septic, we at least incorporated that we wanted them to be evaluated on proper hand wash and garbing as to the Horizon policy, because we follow that in our lab. They should be right on that. Where they weren't permitted to do any compounding, at least they could be evaluated on that.
And along with that, our new accreditation standards say that students have hands-on, again, doing the activity, demonstrating the activity, not serving. So with that, we are working towards having them doing fingertip tests before they come, so that their capability, we know
do the
at
third here.
least that they're on their way, and then have the third one hopefully done here. Verizon, we haven't got all of that straightened out yet, so we can't say for sure that's going to be done, but they will be receiving fingertip testing at the college level.
And possibly.
And the media film, right? So they have those things done. So it's really important for us to let you guys know that hands-on is really important. Even if it's mixing a bag with normal saline, just adding 10 more mils of normal saline to a bag and just
Just so
having
you can
that
see their
bag.
technique.
Right, just so they actually get their hands in there, but they have the ability to set up batches. They have the ability to get in there and contribute. Hopefully not be burdened, but actually lighten the load if they're doing like.
That's just more about, and just looking at the evaluation, a lot of it will say, that they receive and interpret and process the prescriptions. They actually have to do that. Prepares products for dispensing. Verifies the technical aspects. So you'll see in their evaluations, and I think we're going to increase the number of checks that they have to complete while they are out. Because we're limiting them
At 54.
we're gonna increase right while they're just they get more practice with the actual real checking. Of course, anything they check still has to be double checked by the actual.
Exactly, yeah, they're not the one.
Yeah.
But with this, you'll see that it's satisfactory or unsatisfactory, or no, I think it's no opportunity, must be exact. It's not applicable, because all of these are applicable. All of them are things that we do as technicians, so they're all applicable. But if there was no opportunity for this, that's where we want to make sure that those ends are as limited as possible. So if there is no opportunity, then we'll try to figure out a way with you guys, with our students, that we can address that so that there would be an opportunity the next time around. Any of those no opportunities that you think are going to be there, hopefully we can address them. And our students will be presented to you guys. So there's one that's health promotion and research. So that's something that they're going to prepare before they come. So they're going to do a small presentation to you guys. So as far as health promotion and research, it was one thing that, as technicians working in the hospital, how often we get this to go and talk to patients, go to flu clinic or help with a flu clinic. There's not much opportunity. So instead, our students are going to present you guys with the health promotion and a fun opportunity.
Question for us. For those of you who have gone through the modules and have participated as a preceptor before, what types of questions do you have for us that we hopefully help you out with? I've covered it.
Touched on stuff. Yeah. And stuff will come up, and that's why please feel free at any time to email us, and we can get back to that day.
Sometimes when the students are here, we're not in the office, so obviously we come out and do our site visit, but we usually also have access to our emails. So just send us off a quick email, and if you want us to give you a call, then we can usually call you while we're out and about. Definitely, especially if it's something that you need addressed right away. Don't worry about it. Contact us right away so that we can help you out with it.
And we just really want to stress that it's okay for you guys to bring problems to the service, and it's okay for not
We actually have had students in the community rotation have to repeat their practicum because they were found unsuccessful, whether it be for professionalism or a multi-number of things.
Right. It happens. So I honestly don't think it's ever happened. No, for me either.
But a lot of it has. They've been doing a lot of observing. So they do need to get a little more hands-on.
And as you're working after this is fresh in your brain, and when you're working and you're thinking, how on earth am I going to allow them to do this? Just reach out to us and say, I was doing this activity. How would you suggest us incorporate this? So we might not have the answer, but when we go to Debbie, how can we do this?
As far as summer rotation, like, I know I do a lot of GIS work, and so they do sometimes for an hour or whatever. So
Okay.
in that situation, I'm not going to get them to show the file. I'll ask them to go. As far as when they're doing more observing, I don't know. Like,
And that's
Right,
Yeah.
right. If they were with you for 2 days or something, by the end of the
Right.
second day, we'd expect for them to be helping in some capacity. But that short period of time, that
and with ordering, and for an hour, but
so with order entry, because I know they're not given their own code to input anything
Right.
anymore, but maybe if you actually got them to look at it and say, tell me how you would type this, what would you type? Things like that.
and that
to
doesn't
see.
have to be for everyone because you can't do that.
No, but if you got them to do a couple to say, okay, can you identify the medications on here?
Right.
What are they? What are the directions? That way they're at least communicating with you and you can see whether they're having troubles with it or not. Same with I know we've come across this with practice at different sites. Some places they used to be able to type them up and now they're not. But at least get them to tell you, okay, how would you type these directions?
That's so much for your time. I really appreciate that value, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
So I think the next group comes at 25. Are you
Early.
in? Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you guys, and please feel free to reach out to us at any time. Oh, they're turning it down. Melissa's leaving though. Merry Christmas.